Jai Shri Krishna to all, and welcome to Path to Anandam Gita series. Freedom from pains and miseries to happy, healthy, and peaceful life. Based on Bhagavad Gita, my question and God's answers, and also 108 mantras to awaken your soul. And pranam to Swami Hariharji Maharaj, Guruji, with his blessings and bringing everybody here together, guiding to start path to Anandam, path to blissful living, with easy, simple techniques, how to practice Bhagavad Gita in daily life and make ourselves free from anger, from fear, from resentment, from worries, from stress, and practice righteousness, righteous living. Whatever you see on this page, all the bestseller books on Amazon, CDs, this is all his guidance and his blessings. I would say his Adesh. He asked me to write the books many years ago, when I could not even write one paragraph, one sentence. And I looked at him and I said, Guruji, मुझे एक sentence लिखना नहीं आता गीता का, आप मुझे book लिखने को कह रहे हैं. And with his guidance, motivations, you see this message is going to many organizations, universities, corporations, Zoom, like we are here, many other Zooms, we are together. And again, thank you very much for coming in my life. And Lord Krishna, thank you very much. And thank you to all of you for joining. Today's series is number 20. The title is Be Natural, Fear-Free, and Stress-Free. We all need that from our day-to-day situations. But I also thought about this another title, which is basically, title is that, but we will be talking or discussing about know your innate nature, inherent nature, our gunas, and to realize from our innate nature, swabhava, say who we are Satchit Ananda. So verse, chapter 3, 34 and 35 are taken today. And focus would be, what are my stumbling blocks to reach higher self? What is my swabhava? And what is my dharma, swa-dharma? How and why to work accordingly? My action and practices. And my sankalpa. And today's sankalpa is, I follow my dharma. I recognize my swabhava. And tip of the day for practicing meditation and question and answers. And we start with our prayers. With our sankalpa too, where I am Arjuna, where we pray to Lord Krishna to give us the guidance. But we pray with very humbly, surrendering to him like Arjuna, because we are all Arjuna. So let's all give our reins of our life, जीवन का सब भार उनके हाथ में सौंप दें, and pray to him. कर्पण्य दोषो पहते स्वभावा पश्यामि त्वां धर्म सम्मूढ़ चेता यच्छस्यानि निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधिमां त्वं प्रपन्नम् शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधिमां त्वं प्रपन्नम् शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधिमां त्वं प्रपन्नम्. हे मेरे प्रभु, हे Lord Krishna, my heart is overpowered with the weakness of pity. I have lost all my composure and my mind is confused about my duty, what to do and what not to do. What is my dharma? So please guide me. I request you humbly that what is good for me, not what I'm asking, what is good for me. Please instruct me. I surrender to you. So let's all go through this beautiful, blissful journey for self-purification, self-transformation, and uplifting ourselves to reach experience that I am Satchitananda, I am Brahman, I'm no different than God. And as Hariharji Maharaj said, that Gita is a step-by-step spiritual instruction manual to operate our life righteously. It teaches us how to remove our barriers, become fear-free, stress-free by knowing our innate nature, gunas, and working accordingly. The key is working accordingly. Thus, attain eternal happiness, peace, anandam, while living in this material world and beyond. Realize our true nature. So not just that while we are living here and enjoying Gita's teachings and getting the goosebumps by reading Gita, studying Gita, practicing Gita, but beyond that, because Arjuna and his divine company, where Lord Krishna is teaching us, and we are the Arjuna. So we are a student just like Arjuna, and Lord Krishna is guiding us. So path to righteous action and living. When Arjuna gets confused and hears that he is Atma, that was beyond his understanding. So Lord Krishna said, let me explain him based on his swabhava, based on his Kshatriya nature, because he will understand that language, what to work, how to work, why to work. So he takes him by step, removing all of his ignorance layers like an onion, and show him the essence of karma yoga. So through the summary of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna, where he was a Jiva Atma like us, he became Dharmatma by following his dharma. And later on, he was known as Mahatma because he purified his Atma by performing his duty. And he was close to Paramatma. So he became Gunatit from his tamasic nature, where during that time he became tamasic. He says, I'm not going to perform any action. He became ignorant what he was doing. He was kind of becoming lazy. He says he wants to run away to Himalayas to do meditation and drop what he's supposed to be doing, because he forgot that he was Kshatriya. He forgot his innate nature, his svabhava, that as a Kshatriya, he's passionate about wars. That's what all the time he lived in that consciousness, and all of a sudden with his negative emotions, fear that my family members will be killed, he went into tamasic nature, from rajasic to tamasic. Though he was surrounded with Lord Krishna, he was pure Atma. That's why Lord Krishna calls him with many names. Parth. Parth means pure. And he was a pure Atma. So we are here to remove all of our shortcomings through the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, with practicing, realizing who we are and how to experience the presence of God in our life. So why and how to do Karma Yoga? Until we are studying this Karma Yoga, this slide is going to be repeated, because it reminds us why Karma Yoga. Because Karma Yoga is the foundation and very first step to self-realization, because sometimes we cannot do meditation. We cannot understand Bhagavad Gita, which is a true Gyan Yoga, is when I understand who I am. I get that wisdom. But performing my duty properly, I will purify, I will free myself from anger, worries, ego, attachments, and purify myself. I become a pure Atma, which I am. But due to all these shortcomings, barriers, the Atma is kind of dhundli ho gayi hai. There are badals, there are clouds around it, like around sun. So we have to remove those clouds, those shortcomings, and transform ourselves. Our whole purpose of studying Gita and practicing is transforming, removing, deleting all of our negativity from our system and experiencing that I am Satchit Ananda and who I am. And here I always give an example of Karma Yogi, true Karma Yogi, which I know in my life. Swami Chidanandji from Paramaarth Niketan. And also the many other ways to do our karma, even in the kitchen, in the garden, at our office, wherever we are, whenever we do our action with love and compassion for the benefit of all, with wisdom, with jnana, that is true Karma Yoga. Sarva bhuti terata, neki kar kueं mein dal. When we practice that, that is true Karma Yoga. Meditation is another one. So there are many ways to perform our Karma Yoga. What we are talking right now, you are listening here, that itself is a Karma Yoga. And doctor can perform his Karma Yoga through his practicing righteously, taking care of patient from his heart, not just for the money. Gandhiji is a good example how he did his Karma Yoga by performing his duty. Martin Luther King, all these people. And now many politicians, leaders in India are doing the same thing. But it has to be sarva bhuti terata, not just for myself, not just for my family, but for the entire world, for the everybody, where one sees God in all. So Karma Yoga is actually when we convert our karma into dharma, our duty, perform our duty with love and compassion. That is karma yoga. That is the art of work. And again, do our best and let go. Neki kar kuएं mein dal. This is such a beautiful phrase which was given to me by my mother. And that I live with that phrase. So as I said, today we are going to focus on these two verses. Chapter 3:34 and 35. What are the stumbling blocks in our life and how we can get over with it and make ourselves free from these stumbling blocks. So our true nature, these stumbling blocks are basically clouding our true nature that we are Satchitananda. So what is my true nature? We have heard many times, I am Satchitananda, I am Brahmasmi. But when we experience that love and peace and truly the happiness within, the eternal happiness, the blissfulness in that moment, we experience our true nature because it is in our DNA. Of course, we get sometimes upset and angry and we forget who we are. But our swabhava is like a water. Water always stays at the room temperature. Like prakriti ka nature hai room temperature. However, when we boil it, it keeps boiling when it is on the fire. But what happens after when we remove it from the fire? It comes back to the original nature. That coolness reappears. Similarly, we are true Satchit Ananda. Love, peace, Anandam. So though we might have shifted to our anger at that time or worried, we get worried, we are fearful, all that. But when we calm down, we do experience our true nature. So what is our swabhava? Innate nature. Swabhava. This is an acquired nature which we have. We are truly a Satchit Ananda. But then our swabhava, where does our swabhava comes? If we are the Satchit Ananda, then why do I get angry? Why do I get upset? Why do I get overtaken by environment issues? I should be smiling, laughing all the time, but I don't. Because this swabhava, which I have acquired, these gunas, we are made with this prakriti, with this body is the result of these gunas, 3 gunas, tamsik, rajasic, sattvic, and this the whole nature is. Here you see the beautiful picture. This is a sattvic nature of the nature. But when the turmoil is going on, lot of tufans are coming, lot of calamities, natural calamities are happening. That is the tamsic part of nature. Because nature is very angry with us. Like COVID-19 came because nature was very angry with us and wanted to express their its anger to us by having some calamities in our life. Similarly, we have a swabhava. We are made with tamsic, rajasic, sattvic because we are a part of nature, which we have acquired over a period of time, many, many lives. The more we practice of our sattvic nature, we overcome our tamsic and rasic nature. Because sattvic nature, where you see the light, beautiful nature, where is everything is sattvic, calm, with the bhava of seva, simplicity. I call it like a sadhu's life, saint's life, not in the orange clothes, but actually really living as a karma yogi. Then the rasic nature, when we run every day of our life, that is our tamasic nature, rasic nature. Like Arjuna's, he was Kshatriya. So our performance of the daily activity, maintaining our life, is rasic nature. And tamasic nature, when we are really upset, we totally are ignorant, we are dark, we do not understand what's going on. Like switch off is turned off. There is a room, total darkness in the room. We don't know which way to direct, which way to move. And we just sit, be like a lazy person, depressed person. That is the tamasic nature. So again, this is the expansion of what I just said, that why can't we experience our true nature, Satchit Ananda? Lord Krishna has already explained this in chapter 2, verse 62 and 63. But here, as I mentioned, that chapter 2, Sankhya Yoga, is a summary of entire Bhagavad Gita. And now in chapter 3, 4, and 5, which is focused on the Karma Yoga, is giving us some more details about it. Like doing a PhD in the Karma Yoga. But just this is a reminder about that verse where Lord Krishna says, Dhyayato Vishyan Punsa, Sangasteshu Pujayate, Sanga Sanjayate Kama, Kama Krodho Vijayate, Krodha Bhavati Sammoha, Sammoha Smriti Vibhrama, Smriti Bhranshat Buddhi Nashu, Buddhi Nasha Pranshati. It starts from our thoughts. And if thoughts are not good, then the disaster comes and we got confused. But in this verse, chapter 334, he says, indriyasyendriyasyārthe, rāga-dveṣhau, vyavasthitau, tayor, vaśham āgachchhet, hyasya paripanthinau. This, our senses and the sense objects are the cause of our rāga and dveṣha. So attachment and envy, which is rāga-dveṣhau, likes and dislikes, for the objects of the senses are rooted in our senses. These likes and dislikes are rooted in our senses. One must not come under the control of these two, because they are major stumbling blocks on the path to self-realization, experiencing our true Satchit Ananda. And in previous verse, chapter 262, starts with Dhyayato Vishyan Punsa, thoughts. When we have the thoughts, when we have this mind, when we see something like indriyas, measure these 5 indriyas: our tongue, our ears, eyes, nose, touch. Our tongue craves all the time to eat something, likes and dislikes. I like this food, I don't like this food. I like to speak this way, I don't like to speak this way. We are slave of our tongue. Basically, our tongue dictates our likes and dislikes, here likes and dislikes, and we perform accordingly. Same thing is hearing. We want to hear this, we want to don't hear this, we want like this music, we like this gossips, we don't like this kind of conversation. Similarly, we like to see these things. We don't like to see certain things in life. We don't want to face certain situations in life, but we like certain situations. We don't like bad smell, but we like the flowers. So again, likes and dislikes. I like to touch these soft things. I don't like to touch the thorns. I like to touch the roses, but I don't like to touch the thorns on the roses. See, everything we have a likes and dislikes. And these likes and dislikes, the thoughts from the mind, which is these likes and dislikes, where are they coming from? These are the thoughts in mind, which creates the attachment to these things. And then we speak like that, we do the action like that, and then our behavior, our habits are like, I like to sit in certain places. I don't like to sit on certain places. That becomes our habit. And these habits create our destiny, our kismat, our future. But if you look at from here, this is the Lord Krishna here says paripanthinau. Here he's talking about mainly the two barriers, stumbling blocks, envy and hatred, rāga-dveṣhau, attachment, likes and dislikes, and jealousy. Though this particular verse talks about everything, but everything starts from attachment. When we think about it, for example, if I want to think about certain car or going to some places, my thought is right there that I'm going there, I'm going there, I'm going there. So finally I decide, I plan, and I leave my home and I just get in the car and I go there. Now, on the way, there is an accident or my car breaks down. Then I get so angry, I get so upset because I cannot reach there. And it's a true story. I was going to Canada at one time for going to for the conference, and I was driving to the airport, and all of a sudden the tires of my car busted. And I had limited time. And I'm sure many of you might have experienced something similar to that, where we want something, our thought comes, then we put the action. But then what happens if something we do not achieve? Then but here the beauty of it is, since studying the Gita, all of a sudden, instead of getting angry, I got out of the car. On the side, I stood, and within 30 seconds, a truck comes, and truck says, okay, and it was the road truck, and changed my tire. I was fine. So since I was living in awareness that I am getting angry, I'm attached to that because I am missing my flight, and instead of getting upset, I control my senses there. I discipline myself. And here, that's the message here is that whenever we are in this situation, controlled by the senses, we should watch our senses, our situation. We become aware of our situation. And like a policeman, do not allow. Though we might be affected, but we must not allow these attachments. Go into detachment. Let it be. Whatever it happens, it's a God's will. I did my best. put all the efforts. And if it is not meant to be happening, that's okay. This is where the detachment is. And that's where Lord Krishna highlights these two stumbling blocks, that we must be aware of these stumbling blocks. Watch like a policeman if they come, which likes and which dislikes is taking over, and then let it go. And then Lord Krishna says, but how to let it go? It's not easy. Then he explains in the next verse. He says, śhreyān swa-dharmo viguṇaḥ para-dharmo. Very important word here, para-dharmo. Swa-anuṣhṭhitāt, swa-dharme nidhanaṁ, śhreyāḥ, par-dharmo vyavasthitau, which means that our own dharma is better than anybody else's dharma, though it might have some viguṇaḥ in it, some challenges. We must not follow other people's dharma, but stay within our own dharma. Though we might, due to some challenges, we might even face very difficult time, even though here it says, even it could be either facing even the challenges of threat to the death. Like Gandhiji, he always got so many threats. Right now, the good leaders are doing many good things in the country, in India, or even here, and they get the death sentences. Sometimes they are shot down. So that's what he's saying. And then he gives the reason that why we should follow our dharma. Because if we don't, we will live in fearful and stressful life. But before we go into that, like it is far better to do one's own duty, natural work, though it may be inferior to superior unnatural work of others. Even the death is in the cause of performing one's natural work is better than engaging in another duties, unnatural work of another path. Is done with fear and produces too much stress. But before we get into it, we should understand what is dharma and what is swa-dharma and what is para-dharma. So dharma is not just what we are talking about Hinduism and other religions. Dharma is my responsibility, my prescribed duty, like Arjuna's prescribed duty as a Kshatriya is to protect the society through the wars if necessary and practice righteousness. So the dharma means we should perform our duty, our action according to the scriptures, what Bhagavad Gita teaches, what Guru Granth Sahib teaches, what other scriptures teach, but not get confused with the man-made dharmas, because man-made dharmas always refer to, because there is an ego involved there is an attachment involved. But here, dharma means sarva bhutite rata, best for the whole entire work. But then question comes, I have so many responsibilities toward my job, my family, my community, my nation, this world. How should I handle this? As a youth, as an adult, as a parent, as a sibling, you have so many responsibilities. As a husband, as a wife. But we have a responsibility toward our children to guide them properly, give them the proper value system. As a parents, we must take care of them. As a nation, we should be very loyal toward our family, toward our job. Whatever job we have, we must be very loyal to it. not just what is for me, but what can I do for my employer and for the society. We should do some volunteer work. We should do some serve the society with the seva bhav and to serve our country and to the world and be a better and better human being. पहले हम इंसान बन जाएं, फिर महात्मा बनेंगे, फिर परमात्मा से मिलेंगे. But first we must become a good human being. So in summary, here is dharma is love in action. But then swa-dharma. Swa-dharma is what is my dharma. What is my prescribed duty? We have to focus on it. At that time, if I'm working in the kitchen, my duty is to make the best food. So that time, my duty becomes as a cook, as a chef. So whatever, but it has to be with love and compassion. That's where it comes as according to the my swabhava, but according to the scriptures. And what is para-dharmo? औरों का धर्म क्या है? Duty of others, not done accordingly. For example, my nature is rasic. It used to be very rasic, and now it has come gradually with practices. It has given me pleasure of exercising many practices of sattvic nature. But as a rasic nature, if someone is introverted, that person can do the best job as an accountant, but not as a networking person, going in the public as a salesperson, because that person will be have a very difficult time to communicate, because many people are a very silent, quiet people. And if you put them on the job where they have to speak a lot, they get a lot of stress. And that's where a lot of fear. A lot of people have a fear of speaking. Why? Because they're not used to it. That's not in their nature. They rather sit and meditate. Similarly, if a person who is very extroverted and wants to do the work then they could be a hotel manager. They could be doing the networking job, salespeople job, or the social work. Social work means being with the public. So we must recognize what is our nature. Am I rasic nature? Am I extroverted? Am I introverted? What kind of gunas I have? And I should practice accordingly. If I don't, then I will create a lot of stress. So I should not follow other people's dharma. I should practice my own. And here is a very important point. Sarva-dharma nidhanaṁ. No work has a smooth road. All have challenges. In Bhagavad Gita, it says, every action has some challenges like a fire. Always have a smoke with it. Does not mean we should give up. And here, many people actually interpret this in some other religions. Whatever my dharma is, it could be the wrong way they are practicing, interpreting their dharma, and they start calling different names to it, but they die for those actions, even though those actions are not according to the scriptures. It has no love and compassion in those actions, but they still kill other people and kill themselves with their bombs. They call it the auto bomb. They put it on their body and things like that, because they think that they are protecting their dharma. But Lord Krishna says, no. Any activity you do, it has to be with dharma, with love and compassion. So here is little bit I wanted to bring it here about the fear. That fear is the greatest barrier to happy, healthy, and peaceful life. So we should, this is a very good presentation. We should throw move, push fear out of our life. No matter what kind of fear is that, whether it's a fear of death, fear of job, fear of speaking, we should, once we focus on our true nature, the other fear gets disappeared. Why? Because if we do not take care of fear, our physiological system secretes a lot of hormones, stress hormones. Here, when the stress comes in the mind, it goes into our adrenal glands. And from adrenal glands, we feel whether cold or hot, or our blood pressure goes high. We have a shortening of breath because we are so fearful. It's a very detrimental to our body, our emotional health. And we incur a lot of diseases. It is called dis-ease. We feel very uncomfortable. Dis-ease, we are uncomfortable. We lose the peace in our life. All of our other systems, physiological system, cardiovascular systems, digestive system, many times people have fear, they develop the ulcer because adrenal glands are so close to our digestive system, and they burn our system. Toxins, we are uploaded with the toxins. Therefore, we must not come under the effect of fear. We should stay as much as possible with the teachings of Bhagavad Gita by knowing our true nature and not incur the fearful feelings and live a stressful life. So how and why to perform my dharma? Recognize my true nature, gunas. Once we recognize our swabhava, combined with our duty, with our karma yoga, our karma becomes karma yoga. Union with supreme power through the action, whatever seva bhav will take us to ultimate happiness and peace. And we will have a stress-free life, freedom from miseries and pains, and experience healthy, happy, and peaceful life. But we must practice this. Then we can get the benefits of freedom from likes and dislikes and all these 5+2 enemies like attachment and jealousy. Paripanthinau will disappear from our life. Rāga-dveṣhau will disappear from our life. At least they will get so minimized that they will come and in a split of a second, or in few minutes, or in few hours, but it will not last for the whole hour, or sometime whole week and whole month. Because many people you have heard in your life that they have so upset with some of the friends or family members, and then they say, even on my deathbed, I don't want to see this person. And they die with those rāga-dveṣhas. But Gita preacher, Gita study, Gita who are affiliated with Gita and studying Gita, practicing Gita, they do not live with those kind of things. They have such a forgiving, their heart is filled with forgiveness. And they remove all these things little by little. Gita will help them to remove all this. They don't have to put any more efforts toward it, and they will experience their Satchit Ananda. This verse entirely has been, whole summary of this has been explained in Gita verse 264. Rāga-dveṣhau vimuktasu viśhyan indriyasyendriyasyārthe atma-vaśya vidyatma prasadam digachati. We get that prasadam through our self-disciplining, through practices. We become the peace. Where what is that prasadam? Prasadam digachati. Supreme peace comes to us, and there is another name for supreme peace is Satchit Ananda. So what is my duty? What is my swa-dharma? Being in peace and making this world is a peaceful place to live is my dharma. That is true swa-dharma. We must practice that with our nature. So here is again the daily planner, 30 days planner. And why 30 days planner? Actually, it could be 21 days, but my books are mainly for the whole month, 30 days practices. So 30 days we have to practice our swabhava, our swa-dharma, and then we become fearless and stressful life. And it gives us, through the self-purification, transformation, self-discipline practices. And that's where I say Gita is not just speaking, studying, practice, practice, practice. So in the morning, when we get up, have some mantras. As I said, my favorite mantra is Om mantra. So 3 times, 108 times, whatever. But read a one verse of Bhagavad Gita or one message, whatever improvement I want to do. For example, if I want to get freedom from fear, then maybe whatever areas I am fearful, I set a goal that I am eliminate this fear from my life. And I'm going to practice it. If I'm going to eliminate some dvesha, then there is a beautiful verse in Bhagavad Gita. So this is how we practices. And this is gradually, little by little, we transform ourselves. And here Guruji is a good example of it. So my homework, ask myself, swadhyaya-abhyasam, self-inquiry. What is my swabhava? What are my shortcomings? What are my likes and dislikes? Make a list of those ones and work on it one by one. Practice, daily practice. Is this attachment? Is this ego? Is this selfish? Some selfishness is coming? Is this some fear? Or do I surrender? Just live in, here is a beautiful eye-opener here. Live in awareness and then do the self-inquiry. So once we know our swabhava and perform our work and work according to our action, then we do the karma yoga. That becomes karma yoga. We become fearless and we become free from all the miseries and experience ultimate our true nature. So innate nature, inherited nature to true nature through karma yoga. So our sankalpa is for this week, practice this week is, I know my dharma and I know my swabhava. And then with practice, I will experience my happiness and experience Satchit Ananda. So little by little with sankalpa. It is not a fast technique. It's not a switch you can turn it on. There is a lot of work needs to be done. So practice, practice, practice. So thank you very much for joining. Be aware of our true nature, freedom from fear and stress, and know our swabhava. So live accordingly with our swabhava and dharma and experience who I am. I am Satchit Ananda.